What's up, guys? It's Eric here. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and follow button. If you're returning, welcome back. I share a lot about addiction, mental health, just fighting through life. And I wanted to talk about what happens when you mix Adderall and Xanax. This is something that is actually prescribed to a good, decent number of people actually out there. People are going to immediately say this doesn't work this way. They offset each other. This is speedballing. And I wanted to share from my personal experience because I was prescribed this. And yes, I was sober at the time. And I didn't relapse because of this. And I don't look at this as a relapse, and here's why. So I'm diagnosed ADHD, and I was diagnosed this at 17. Originally, I was diagnosed ADD. I've been on ADHD meds the majority of my life, and whenever I wasn't on my ADHD meds, I was on alcohol and cocaine because those were really good self-medicators for me. When I got sober 7/25/17. I got back on my meds. That was one of the big starts of me getting sober, was like to let me like take care of my brain and handle my brain how I know to. Because when I take my meds, I don't want to drink and I don't want to do drugs. But when I do take my meds, I need to like calm this down. So I got on my meds, and 3 weeks into my sobriety, my dad unalived himself. My dad took his life. My dad was a really successful doctor. I love my dad, and he ended it. I was already really struggling, just getting sober one day at a time, fighting through. And now I lost my dad. And it wasn't right away. It was about 2 weeks afterwards. After I already went to the visitation, and we did a visitation where people could see his body. It wasn't the true funeral yet. That was still a few weeks away. That I started really having really bad panic attacks. And I didn't realize what they were. Here I am sober, and I was like, maybe the drugs are killing me. Maybe getting sober is like catching up to me. I didn't realize that. I already went through DTs. I didn't even know what DTs were when you shake, because I was drinking so much alcohol. I was shaking and vomiting and hallucinating. I didn't realize that this was actually deadly. I'd made it through those, and now all of a sudden I can't breathe. I'm freaking out. There's pain in my chest. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I'm having a heart attack, and I'm finding out all of a sudden that I have panic attacks. And I had to really dig in I had a therapist at this time. I really had to dig in and find out, okay, what's the difference between a panic attack and an anxiety attack? A panic attack is something that's caused by a massive underlying stressor. Well, massive underlying stressors are usually like losing a job, getting divorced, losing a family member, death in the family. Well, my dad and I find out, oh my God, okay, like I'm really kind of struggling with this. I didn't think I needed to address my dad's death. And so the therapist recommended, I get with my psychiatrist, talk to my psychiatrist, and they prescribed me Xanax as needed. So I was prescribed Xanax. I had the prescription as needed for Xanax, and I was taking my Adderall. And what happens when you actually take Xanax with Adderall is this. So Adderall is a stimulant. It is a stimulant that is constantly feeding your brain dopamine, which is allowing you to focus. It's allowing you to use the logical side of your brain to really process and function through. So I was using that so that I could work and be functional. And every now and then, just out of the blue, a panic attack hits. And they're exhausting. If you've ever had a panic attack before, comment down below. Like, you feel like you are having a heart attack, you feel like you're dying. And it is physically taxing to you. Like, you are exhausted after you go through one of these. So as soon as I could feel it, I am starting to have like a heart attack. I'm starting to just lose it. I'd grab a Xanax, I'd snap off a piece of it because I wouldn't take a whole pill. I would break them in half, and I would take a half, and in about 10 minutes, it felt like my brain could breathe. All of a sudden, it was like I could feel this pain. I'm freaking out. I would usually take it. I'd be sitting, and I usually would rock, and I know what's happening. I'm trying to be logical to myself, even though it's really hard to do. And all of a sudden, I could notice myself breathe. And I could tell it was kicking in. And that's one of the reasons they'll prescribe Xanax to you for panic attacks, is because it has a really short half-life, so it hits really hard, really fast. Now that I had Xanax that would have hit me, it would calm me down. What I just experienced had nothing to do with my Adderall. Now, this benzo is going to offset some of the Adderall, but here's the thing, is it didn't offset it all the way. I would still be able to be functioning. I would still be able to go, okay, where was I at? Let me pick up these pieces and start going at my day, and I could eat my lunch, or I could get back to work, and I could actually start functioning again. And I would be a little hazy. I'd be a little cloudy, just because I'd go through a lot. Like, this was a lot to go through. I didn't take off any time of work. I didn't know what was happening to me. It was not a good part of my life. All I knew is I didn't want to do alcohol and cocaine, and I wanted to be sober. And, to me, this was me being sober. This was me taking care of myself. Like, that's the thing I don't understand. I meet a lot of people in recovery, and I do a lot with recovery, if you haven't noticed. And there's no martyr role. There's no badge that says, man, your recovery was harder than everybody else's, so you get this badge. You did sobriety better. And that's the one thing that I do struggle with the sobriety community. There's a lot of toxicity on how you are supposed to and not supposed to get sober, and what's a relapse and what's not a relapse. And people will tear you down, and they are nasty. And that's one of the things that actually drove me away from a lot of NA and AA meetings, was how nasty people were about things like this. And then how many people I would find were nasty about it because behind closed doors, they were taking Xanax, or they were taking, Ativan and stuff for their anxiety. And it was like, it just blew my mind. But it was, for me, this is how I functioned through. And at no time during any of this did I go to my normal default. I didn't go to alcohol, and I didn't go to cocaine. Because 2 years before this, I lost my wife to suicide. Brandy Zink took her life. 8/27/2015, my wife, we were separated at the time, took her life. And it was hard for me. Guess what I did? Instead of going to a therapist, instead of getting on my meds like I did when I got sober, instead of doing what I should have did, going to therapy, start healing this trauma, I went to, wow, I'm going to start drinking. I'm going to start doing coke. And that's what I did. I went hard on, balls to the wall with substances to numb it all. It was so much pain. I just numbed it all. And with my dad, I knew I had to do differently. And that was like one of the ways I didn't realize it was like the first way I ever showed up for myself in my sobriety, even, of going, you know what, I'm not going to do the norm. I'm not going to go to alcohol. I'm not going to go to the bar. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to do anything. Like, let me take care of me. Let me function as an adult. Let me start processing this through as best as I can. And so that is my experience of when it comes to actually mixing these. Yes, you can mix these. They are prescribed together. Again, Xanax is usually prescribed as needed. And I'm just sharing from my lived experience. And at no time did I go, oh my God, I'm really high. Let me pop another Xan and let me pop another Addy and let me. No, I would go, okay, let me finish with my day. And that's the thing that always blows my mind is I love when I share very controversial takes, because people will scream, oh my God, you're not sober. They'll start tearing down. They'll just go at you. It's so nasty to see. And it just reinforces why it is so hard to get sober, because there's people that have never experienced sobriety who will tell you how to be sober. It's pretty amazing how they're experts at something they've never been through. And again, that's why I do share some of this stuff. I share my experience on it and my belief on it. And my belief is that I'm sober since 7/25/17, and I didn't let my dad unaliving himself result in me going back to alcohol and cocaine. So remember that. I mean, for the ones out there getting sober, there's no right or wrong way. It's your way. As long as you're not under an overpass with a needle hanging out your arm, ODing on fentanyl, with your kids wondering where you're at and your wife freaking out because the bills are paid and you're not showing up at work and no one can find you, you're finding things to work through instead, and you're showing up for your family, you're showing up for yourself, and you're being the person you're supposed to be. I mean, if you're new to the channel, hit the like and follow button, comment down below. I'd love to know your experiences with this. And just remember, man, for the one out there doing it, I am proud of you. There is no right or wrong way. If you want to go to rehab, go to rehab. There's amazing ones out there. Refine Recovery, I have them tagged down below. Refine Recovery is awesome. They're in Beverly Hills. Great group of guys. Go to inpatient treatment or outpatient treatment. Download Sunflower Sober. It's an app on iOS and Google. Start tracking your days of sobriety. You have Sam, the AI sponsor, which is amazing. You have a therapist and therapy that you can do through there. There's a journaling. There's a learn section, coping skills. I mean, there's so much in Sunflower Sober to help you get sober. Go to a doctor, a psychiatrist, a therapist. Get on the right meds. Even with all that, still, go find the right AA meeting or NA meeting and find Al-Anon meeting. Go to all the meetings and then some. You're going to find some meetings that you're going to really connect at. And that's what it's about. For the one going through it right now, I am proud of you. Don't give up. It does get better, and you are worth it.